The room erupted in quiet laughter. Not the kind that filled a room with joy. The kind that cut deep. 20 executives sat around a polished glass table worth more than most people's annual salaries. At the center sat Marcus Hale, a tired-looking man in a simple gray shirt, opening an old scratched laptop that looked completely out of place among the sleek devices surrounding him. The laptop's casing was cracked. Its corners were worn. One key was missing. Then came the laugh. A senior board member glanced at the ancient machine and smirked. Within seconds, others joined in. One woman laughed openly and shook her head, unable to believe someone had entered a billion-dollar boardroom carrying what looked like a relic from another decade. Marcus lowered his eyes for a moment. Not because he was embarrassed. Because he had been underestimated his entire life. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and never judging someone by appearances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a comment below, and subscribe to Kindness Corner for more powerful stories that remind us what truly matters. Marcus Hale was not born into privilege. He did not attend prestigious universities. He did not inherit wealth, connections, or opportunities. What he inherited was struggle. 10 years earlier, Marcus had been a young husband with dreams of building technology that could help people. But life had other plans. After the sudden loss of his wife during a medical emergency, everything changed overnight. He became a single father to his 6-year-old daughter, Emily. The grief nearly destroyed him. There were days when he sat alone after Emily fell asleep, staring at unpaid bills spread across the kitchen table. The future felt impossible. He worked odd jobs during the day and spent nights teaching himself programming through free online resources. While others slept, Marcus learned. While others relaxed, Marcus studied. His old laptop became his companion. It was slow. It overheated. Sometimes it shut down unexpectedly. But it was all he had. Emily often woke up late at night and found her father sitting at the kitchen table surrounded by notebooks filled with handwritten equations and sketches. She never fully understood what he was building, but she understood something more important. Her father never gave up. Years passed. Slowly, Marcus developed an innovative artificial intelligence platform designed to solve complex supply chain problems for large companies. He worked alone from a tiny apartment while raising Emily. Every line of code represented sacrifice. Every breakthrough came from thousands of failed attempts. No investors believed in him. No major company returned his emails. Many experts claimed his ideas were unrealistic. But Marcus kept going. Because he wasn't trying to prove them wrong. He was trying to build a better future for his daughter. The invitation to present before one of the country's largest corporate boards came unexpectedly. A junior analyst had discovered Marcus's research online and convinced leadership to give him 30 minutes. 30 minutes. That was all he had. And now, sitting in that luxurious boardroom, surrounded by people who saw only his old laptop, Marcus could feel history repeating itself. The same assumptions. The same judgments. The same dismissive smiles. The woman who had laughed the loudest leaned back confidently, certain this presentation would be a waste of time. Several executives checked their phones. Others exchanged amused glances. Marcus quietly connected his laptop. Then he began. At first, nobody paid much attention. His voice was calm and steady. He explained a problem costing major companies billions every year. He described inefficiencies hidden within global supply networks. A few executives listened. Most didn't. Then Marcus started demonstrating his solution. Within minutes, the atmosphere shifted. Heads slowly lifted. Phones disappeared. The room grew silent. Marcus's software wasn't merely good. It was revolutionary. The system analyzed massive amounts of data in real time and identified solutions that existing platforms missed entirely. Complex scenarios that usually required weeks of analysis appeared on the screen within seconds. Executives who had been bored moments earlier now leaned forward. The woman who had laughed stopped smiling. Marcus continued. He revealed simulations showing how companies could save hundreds of millions of dollars while reducing waste and improving efficiency. Every question from the board received an immediate, thoughtful answer supported by evidence and results. The confidence in the room began changing direction. For the first time, the people around that table weren't looking at Marcus's laptop. They were looking at Marcus. And what they saw surprised them. Not a struggling outsider. Not an amateur. A genius. As the presentation concluded, silence filled the boardroom once again. But this silence was different. It was respect. One executive finally spoke and asked how large Marcus's development team had been. Marcus paused briefly. Then he answered. Just one person. The room stared at him. Years of work. Millions of lines of code. Groundbreaking innovation. Built by a single father working late nights after putting his daughter to bed. The impact of that realization hit everyone differently. Some looked shocked. Others looked ashamed. The woman who had laughed lowered her eyes. For the first time that morning, she understood what her laughter had revealed, not Marcus's limitations, but her own assumptions. The board voted that same day. Unanimously. They approved a partnership worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But something even more meaningful happened afterward. As Marcus packed away his old laptop, one of the executives approached him privately. He admitted that he had judged Marcus the moment he entered the room. Looking at the worn laptop, he assumed Marcus wasn't prepared. Marcus simply smiled. Life had taught him that appearances rarely tell the full story. A week later, Marcus returned home after signing the final agreement. Emily was waiting at the kitchen table. The same kitchen where years earlier she had watched her father struggle through endless nights. Marcus placed the signed contract beside her. Tears filled his eyes. Not because he had become successful. Because every sacrifice had finally meant something. Emily wrapped her arms around him, and for a moment, all the boardrooms, contracts, and business victories disappeared. He was simply a father who had kept a promise. A father who refused to quit. A father who proved that determination can outlast doubt. Special request: comment below with the words, "Never judge too soon," if you believe people deserve to be valued for their character, not their appearance. Years later, Marcus kept the old laptop. He could have replaced it 1,000 times over. But he never did. The scratched machine reminded him of every difficult night, every rejection, every obstacle, and every moment he chose perseverance over surrender. It reminded him that greatness often arrives disguised as ordinary struggle. And it reminded him that the people who laugh first are often the ones left speechless in the end. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps spread stories of hope, resilience, and kindness to people who may need them most today. Because sometimes, the most powerful person in the room isn't the one with the newest technology, the biggest title, or the loudest voice. Sometimes, it's the person who quietly refuses to give up. And that can change everything.